All right. Yeah. I'll wait a minute and see if anyone else wants to join. I did. It is messed up. And worst thing about it is it was like horrible management. Horrible management was yeah. No, they're gonna do Minecraft instead. Minecraft thing. People were like Minecraft over to Walking Dead. You see the text changing color? Uh, hold on.
Then that's okay.
Now you can. Thanks for
What?
reminding me. Yep. Thanks for reminding me. I forgot to do that.
My voice is louder than yours. I don't think this should be the case.
Turn it down some.
Okay. Yeah, you might want to make yours louder. Voice is louder than yours. Should be the case.
Turn it down some.
Okay. Yeah, you might want to make yours louder. Voice is louder than yours. Should be the case.
Turn it. Okay. I don't want you to be too low. All right. Let me stop. I don't need to animate. You ready?
Yep.
I'm going to first, actually, instead of moving these, I'm just going to do another layer. And I'll use orthographic mode. Orthographic mode is nice for modeling. Let me turn on screen keys too. Orthographic mode is nice for modeling because everything is shown at the size that it actually is without perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because, with perspective mode, things that are closer appear larger, but in orthographic mode, it's not the case. Everything is flattened out. It's almost as if it removes all perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just a UV. Need to allow background images. It's going to be front view only. Yeah, that works. And then I'll also add another image. This one will only be viewable from the right angle, I believe. And I have a side view. Now I have to line these up a little bit. Close that. Close the in properties tab. Actually, I don't need the UV editor right now. I'm just modeling. I think I'm going to start modeling this good boy this side. Yeah. Where's the other one set? This one maybe needs to be raised up a little bit. This image. a little bit. His nose is right here. They're not the same size, are
No. I
they?
don't believe so.
It's hard to get a perfect, reference. So their noses are in alignment now, more or less.
There was the one I sent you earlier that was a little better than this one though.
I have to make it
work. Yeah, this face is more symmetrical. I think it'll be easier to work with. But it's yeah, and its color contrast is also sharper. So if you plan on coloring it, it will be easier to do. The yellow and the brown.
So there's an easy way to rotate this plane so that it's perfect with the corgi.
Mm-hmm.
First, you press R for rotate. Now, when you're looking at the image from the right side, you can only see the Z plane and the Y plane, not the X plane. If I was to rotate on the X plane, it would go that way. One that we can't see. Rotate on the Z plane. Oh, sorry, that's the one you can't see. It's rotating, but it's staying flat. So the only rotations that matter in this view are X and Y. Anyway, I'm going to rotate on Y, just the green line, 90 degrees. And needed to do, okay. And I just hit escape to cancel that. Maybe I need to rotate on X by 90 degrees. No? Alright, what's going on here? Oh, okay. Oddly enough, I had to rotate on Z first and then rotate on Y. Maybe. Let me start over. Plane. Rotate Y 90. There. As it should be. So I've been watching tutorials on low poly animals done easily. Mm-hmm. The way you do it, according to videos I've seen, basically just frame the animal. You can do that easily in wireframe mode. I'm going to stop at his leg. And E, extrude, or you can shift left click. No?
Mm-hmm.
Thought you could. Oh, it's control left click. Got a little dip in his back there. All of this actually is his leg. And you can shift left click, but I actually prefer E for extrude. Can't really see his tail in here. I'll have to look at an image of the tail. Maybe that's his tail.
It tail's like bent inward, I think.
You can press S to scale. Whenever you only have two vertices, this will bring them closer together or spread them further apart along the edge. Scaling this in. Then I'll do it again. In a little bit. Kind of line it up, get it right. Then do the same thing over here. E to extrude. Then bring these in. Bring select. E to extrude. Now, I hope this works because I haven't tried it yet. I was actually waiting First stream, do this. Come up here, follow the neck. As much as possible, I would like to do the head separate from the body. Not going to worry about the ears yet. Good.
So this whole model is going to be really low poly, right?
That's what I'm going to try to do. All right. So over here at the front view from the sides, very flat. But
What do you call this tool again? What are you doing right now?
this is the mirror modifier tool. If that's what you're referring to. If you go over here, I've got this mesh selected. You don't have to split any vertices or anything like that. Just so that you're in this object in object mode and then switch to edit mode. So this is the one we're working with. You can have everything selected, you can have nothing selected, either way. You go over here and you choose, I'm wondering if anybody's watching right now. Flipping back and forth between YouTube and Thunder. Anyway, so I'm adding a modifier. And it's a mirror modifier. That's not right. It doesn't look right at all. Not mirroring the right axes. There we go. We want it mirrored in the Z direction. And then you can basically extrude the whole thing. I'm going to turn on clipping first off, then extrude it inwards. It's probably not big enough. Wireframe mode, I'll go to box select. Just widen it a little bit. Corgis are a little bit, yeah, they're a little punchy. Oh, you know, I forgot a step, actually. So his legs are not supposed to be connected together like that. It looks like an animal cracker now. Move these vertices. There's probably an easier way to do this. What's the easier way to do this? Separate them again. I'm just going to do it the way that I had in mind. Is to delete these vertices by pressing X. And apparently I undid the step where I made it a little wider. Add a loop cut here. And we have to replace the faces here by first selecting 4 vertices. Make sure they're forming a square where you want the square to be. And then press, actually for this I have a better idea. On the front view, Extrude just those vertices so they're lined up there. Also, extrude these vertices just until they're lined up there. Then you can add faces. You can also just delete faces. There doesn't need to be a face inside the foot. Delete that. There does need to be a face on the heel, and a face here, and a face here. There was a shortcut to avoid doing all of this, but this is one way to do it. There. You've got appropriate legs in the front and inappropriate legs in the back. Get to the head a little later.
That's cool.
Vertices. I may have deleted too many vertices there. I don't need to delete that one. I don't need to delete that one. See, on this side, I've already got the leg. I didn't need to extrude it out. That already added the loop cut before I deleted it. Corgis have such short legs. I think this one needs to be down just a little bit. Just in line with the other one. Same thing over here. He's got flat feet now. Alright, corgis are kind of chubby. Vertices in the middle. And just pull it up. He's got some weight to him. Might want to raise his back a little bit. He's starting to come out, right? Just a little bit. You can kind of look at things and tell the legs stick out from the body. They're not just there, you know.
I'm more interested in seeing how you managed to morph him into, try to get the front model, the front facing side model.
Going on here. Much nicer if you have square shapes. These can't always have that. Nothing should have a completely straight edge.
Right. And he has feet now.
He doesn't have a nose yet. Haven't added that. Haven't really added that yet. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna separate the nose and the mouth. His ears somewhere around here. So there's another command that's used pretty often. It's very useful. It's I, which stands for inset. And if you don't know what a command is, but you know what it's called, you can press space and then type it in. And it'll give you inset faces, which it also says to press I to get there. Okay. Slow down. What it does, now it turned one face basically into 5 faces. One on each side and then one in the middle. That's where the ear is going to come out of. Rude. To get these right. Let me make his head a little bit smaller. I can always make the head smaller later if I don't like it. And it's kind of starting to come along. Maybe I never quite figured out how mouths are supposed to work. If I go into object mode, it kind of looks taking shape. Smooth it out. He kind of has a butt for a face. It's gonna work out a little later. And stuff like this, you can just tell there shouldn't be a perfectly flat surface there. The middlemost vertex probably sticks out the most. And he's got a roundness in here. This shouldn't be exactly like that. So what I want, I can use grease pencil for this. What I want is for a curve here. It's not a very good curve. Like a curve. So it shouldn't just go straight up and then angle. You can kind of add curves yourself to make it look right. Because, yeah, he's got a curve here. This one's head is smaller than the other one. This one seems more zoomed in. But, erase that. And I could have used Control Z to do that, but I like showing off things. Here. Close this. Now let's try that. A to extrude, R to rotate, S to scale. That doesn't look that bad. There's a problem with the ear. I don't like the ear though. I think it's because this isn't high enough, or this isn't low enough. is the inner ear. You can see like sharp corners like this, probably can smooth those out a little. I found usually when you have big squares like these, it's good. There's some stretching here, but that's okay. You have big squares like this, really good for changing the shape of things without messing things up. And when the ears, where the ears are, it's not quite. R for rotate. Got to keep them kind of. Actually, I think I know what I want to do. Yeah, that looks better. So the front vertices should be lower. They should be just a little bit higher and forward, but not so far forward that they think this is looking okay. Now everything's a little too tall. I'll use circle select and select everything there and just drag it down a little bit. What? His head's tilted though a little bit. One ear's a little taller than the other. I think I'll use the left ear as an approximation. What else can I do here? That face is looking a little flat, right?
Yeah. I was starting to see some semblance of a head, though.
See how close I got it with the head from the right side view. It's not that bad, actually. See, if I want to select both vertices, or actually there's three now, if you just clicked on it in wireframe mode, you would only click the one. But if you first, and A to deselect everything, if you first use the circle select tool, it'll just grab all three vertices. So drag this down some. Then A to deselect, circle select. Anything that's there, his head kind of begins here. And I might have mentioned earlier that I want the head kind of separated from the body. I think our front view is a little more zoomed in and a little taller than this one is, so I'm not going to make it perfectly aligned. Very minor modification to make it tall. Because the spine makes it a little taller. And you can also use the circle select tool with middle mouse button or alt left mouse click if you have that emulated, and deselect certain things. That's just kind of want to bring this up, so I'll press G to grab and Z go up. Actually, that stretches out the bottom a little.
That's cool.
Easy. As long as it's low poly, it's going to stick out a little bit.
Oh, those gonna be ears.
I'm gonna try to move it on the X a little bit. I want them to be chubby, but not that chubby. I'm gonna play around with coloring him. I think is there's the head. How does it hold up? All right, maybe I'll pull this back a little. And I'm actually kind of just eyeballing it now. Taking out some of the roughness of the shapes. Right. So I was going to mess around with coloring him. That's all I want to do actually is color him. So, as long as you're in edit mode, you can, here, before I do that, I'm going to create an image here. Looks like there's already one. Get an image. New with a UV grid. I'm gonna do those steps over again so anyone who wants to follow can follow. But first, I want to color him. And I don't want to find a reference image and perfect everything. I'm actually going to basically draw directly onto the mesh, but not. So I open a new view, change this from 3D view to UV image. We don't want whatever this is. This is from an earlier render that I did. Close that. Then new UV grid. It can be whatever size you want. I don't think it has to be enormous. Probably just leave it as it is, and okay. Now you've got all these different colors, and you select everything over here and unwrap it. Now what I just did was I pressed Alt Z. This is your solid view. It doesn't care what color the corgi is supposed to be or anything else. You just get this gray color. You can also see your materials. Right now we just want to see what the texture is. So you go down here and change this from solid to texture, or the shortcut is Alt Z. Right, fair enough. Do face select. Fortunately, I still haven't figured out how to select vertices in the front only. So we select manually. Go to the front view. That's kind of weird. Didn't really unwrap it very well. Maybe I need to do one face at a time. You know, it shouldn't be just squares, I think. Oh, and that's inside of him. Is that inside of him? Don't want any faces inside of the mesh. If you happen to find one, yeah, there's more in there. and you're deleting only faces. It probably won't cause a problem now, but it could be a problem later. For example, if I'm trying to click on, I know what I'll do. So I'm in face select only. Each one of these dots represents faces inside the mesh. And you press 7 to get a top view. Press C, circle select. All these faces that are inside the mesh. You don't want, because if I'm trying to select the meshes on the faces on the outside of the mesh, I won't be able to. By deleting these faces, only faces, it doesn't change the mesh, but now there's less confusion going on inside of it. If I want to click this face here, this face, or this face, it won't click a face inside of it. Now that was a little confusing. Ah. Alright. So I want to draw an eye for this corgi. Just kind of draw an eye. You see as I'm moving this texture, it's moving his face. Down here, you can right click to drag this bar. In case you need anything from it. I'm going to change it to paint. And what color is his fur? We'll grab full strength. Use the eyedropper. To do that, you go in here, choose your color, choose the eyedropper, then choose like a fur color, maybe somewhere in here. Finally, if I go back into the texture view with Alt-Z, you can see the result of what I'm. I probably will just make everything brown for now. But I'm going to give him an eye. It's not going to be exactly where it's supposed to be. I can raise this up. And we'll do that. Then over here, this is where I selected his eye. I'm not an artist. I don't claim to be. Try give him eye. And you can resize your brush at any time by pressing F and left click to confirm. Oh, now the reason why that's happening, I'm going to select the entire mesh and press Control Tab. Use face only mode, or you can just go down here. There's face only. Over here, select vertices, edges, and faces. I'll select the whole mesh, then cancel this mesh here. Cancel this face. To do that, you shift right click. I have to change this back to mask and resize everything. Because before, every single one of these faces is using this entire grid, which means got an eye all over his body. I want that, so move this over here until I get to drawing that, or if I get to drawing that. And then actually, I could just bring another window in here. I'll bring another window in here. Down here in the bottom left corner of this window, actually we can use the one that's already here. Change this to UV image editor. Because I'm going to open concept for the Corgi front view. And I'll try to use this to paint him. I don't know if it's going to work out because I'm not an artist. In fact, I could just make them really low resolution and not do the eyes and other features. Try it anyway. Why did that change? Didn't want that to change. Well, it was a good idea, but it really didn't work. If I find another way to do it, I'll do that. Keep it simple though for now. He's got a black nose. Change this back to vertex. Make his nose kind of stick out a little bit. You can also, instead of doing face select, just select 4 vertices like that. You can paint him a nose now. It's kind of funny looking. You still in there, Cody?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. That's right. I need to change this from mask to paint. On it where the eye is. So this whole circle here is like the eye. So any other UVs, want them in that square. What color are his eyes? Not that. Here, and his eyes also have kind of an outline. I don't want this to be full opacity. The outline. Wouldn't be that strong either. Because it's kind of a black brown outline. Now the nose. Probably have to come back to this and make it look nicer. As I move the eyes around and stuff like that. Nose is just a gray color. I want to make sure I get the right, shade. Full strength. nostrils or a little closer to the center. Control Z to undo and put that right in the center. Nope. Evidently, this UV needs to be changed or rotated. It looks kind of terrible. So, I'm not the best at whatever this is, UV painting. So I'm going to do something different. Render him. What I'm going to do so I'll pull the UV map out of there by going to UV image editor and then clicking the X. I don't want to use that anymore. I don't think I'm quite ready for that. I'm going to give them a material and just change the color of the material. Maybe I need to go to material. Corgi is a light brown color, like that. The ears aren't that color. At least not the inner ears. Add a new material. And I'll also name it Packet Top coat, I guess. Because he's got an undercoat too. Use the dropper to select that proper white of this ear. I'll show you what this does. With only this face selected, you hit sign. That's not really good. I know I used the eyedropper tool, but I don't really like that. Ears are more blondish white. Start with white and go more yellow. Full red, full green, and then add blue. I need a lot more blue. This should be full white now. Not. Put a light here. See how it looks illuminated. In the render view, it looks more white. Still kind of bluish. I see a really sharp corner on his chest. This should puff out. This should probably be full. Also full. That is not quite right. Try again. A new material. Now it's full white. It's fine. Still pretty bluish. I have to live with it right now. This doesn't look quite right. I think it's because it's too low. Remember, the closer you can get to a square, the better it'll look. That is way too high. And then here is way too high. This will help to add some roundness to his head and face. This doesn't look quite right. He does have a neck, believe it or not. There. Yeah, I guess it's called topology when the squares are really evenly distributed and they look nice. They're easy to play with. This is looking pretty good. Seems to stick out a little. There are places where it's not quite behaving with the light. This is probably one reason. This isn't a very good square shape. The way I go into render view really quickly, by the way, is Shift Z. If you want to see how things react to lighting. Change this to a sun lamp. Now he's got more light on his back. But if I rotate it, doesn't look that bad. Poor low quality. Alright, I'm going to do what I did with the nose before and just give it its own color. Be white. This should be named black. And not totally dark black. Now he's got a little nose. I guess his inner ear could be white. So he's got 3 materials, and right now all they're doing is giving him a different coat of paint in that area. But they could do a lot of cool stuff, like all of these are going to wireframe. All of these are going to be white. So just sign that to white. There you go. Oh, that shouldn't be white though. Actually, it should, right? This bottom half is white. Make sure you're not accidentally selecting vertices behind the mesh. Going in it at an angle like this can help that. And the same thing applies with the roundness of the shape of the mesh. This bottom half is really not very well rounded. Maybe if I pull this down ever so slightly and pull this, I don't want to pull, maybe I can pull the leg up ever so slightly. Now he actually has a belly in. Maybe he can come out. No. Let's see how he's supposed to look in the front view. The legs kind of come in from the body. So what I'm doing here needs to be in. In. And just to keep these more straighter, more straight. What do you think, Cody?
He's actually starting like a dog now.
You can also come over here because in real life, everything has a little bit of light, even if it's in perfect darkness. And increase the ambient occlusion. If you, this is under the world settings, by the way. It doesn't matter what object you have selected when you come here. You pull this all the way up, everything is fully lit. Pull it all the way down, you'll only receive light from your light sources. Up there.
Right.
Everything is lit. He kind of looks like a dog now, right? But I think his legs on this side are white in color. Right. No, they're not. They're mostly brown. And at least from here back, it looks like he's black. You'll notice there's not really a blend here. There are ways you can make it blend better. I think his bottom is mostly white. I like this thing here, where it's in the dark, right? You can't really see the vertices. However, you can see a line from the vertices that you select that show you where the next one is. Almost. Yes, eyeball it. I'm just going to assume the whole backside of this corgi is white. Yeah, that's right. And I think his whole back is this black coloration. It's not really rounded, but it didn't work out very well at all. So what I did was I applied a surf modifier and it didn't really work. Maybe if it was above. Now, I'm just going to pull the subsurf modifier out. So one way you can make these blend a little better is do this. It adds some roundness to the otherwise square vertices. Same thing here. I just pulled it this way slightly. It's still kind of jagged. Not quite as bad as it was before. Now it kind of has a roundness. And do I see gaps in here? No, he's a bulldog. And I've kind of neglected the face. First thing I want to do is put the white. Know that this is all white. All of this here. And all of this here, except for the nose, which I'll try to avoid. Actually, I just have to repaint the nose. It'd be easier to do this way. All of this, the white. And again, I'll have to redo the nose. It's the simplest way to do it. This nose shouldn't be that pointy, right? If I added a loop cut here, and give the top of his nose that black color, and the sides and bottom, because the nose isn't a perfectly flat shape on the front of his face. Maybe pull these back. Back a little. These feet, I think, be about the same level as the other feet. Not that flat. There. Yeah, that's not bad. Sun is in the way. Put that out of the way. Move it up here. It doesn't matter where this is located, it illuminates the same. And I'm moving this up slightly because I don't think it just goes straight to the black. Everywhere that he has fur seems to blend from black to brown and then white. Except for right here, looks a little better. It has to be close because there's not much of a blend from the black to the brown to the white backside. Then looking at this in wireframe, that was sticking up a little higher than I would like. I don't know what their tails are supposed to look like. I'll have to find another reference image. Maybe I can move this up to give more of a curve there. You don't want really long faces between vertices. And again, the head's kind of disproportionate because it's bigger in this view. Let's give the good boy eyes. He's also got little eyebrows. I don't know if I'll be able to properly emulate those. Right here, kind of want to add some sort of roundness to the head. It doesn't look. So what I just did was added a subsurf. There's something not right about the back, but everything else looks good. The middle of the mesh doesn't look quite right, but everything else looks good. Move the subsurf up. I moved the subsurf before the mirror modifier. It actually looks okay. A couple places in the back don't look right. Maybe if I move them up a little bit, it will look right. I'll do the subsurf later. I think I have to apply the mirror modifier first because it's messing things up. Low hanging jaw. This doesn't look bad, honestly. How long have I been streaming for? About an hour. Hello. Hello, Arkin. Hello, Choco. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna. Oh, I just remembered the easy way to get eyes on him.
I personally think his eyes should be spread apart a little bit further.
First of all, I don't think this part of the mesh is that color. Yeah, it's mostly white, mostly brown on the edges. And round it out a little bit. Round is He's got a little bit of a jutting forehead, it looks like. If I was going to do the eyes, all right, so I just remembered the easy way to do that is to inset eye. And move these down. Here we go. Of course, I could go one step further and inset again. Inset black. And there you go. Now I want to apply the mirror modifier because I want to try get that subsurf correct. But before you apply modifiers, it's very important to duplicate the object in case something goes wrong. So Shift D. Oh, look at that, he's got a friend. We'll move his friend here. Go back to before I duplicated him. I want to duplicate. Hold on. All right, cancel that. I want to duplicate him and then left click to confirm. Now we have two of them. They're in the exact same place because I want to move this one to any layer will do. So if I moved him, the other one would be where he is now. Now I'll apply the mirror modifier, and I want to try to subsurf one more time. Now it's still doing something funny with his back. His center, actually. So I'm not really sure why it's doing that. I'm not really sure why it didn't apply the mirror modifier. Here. Center. Select it. It's not quite right. I think somehow I was messing with the wrong dog. No, it's still doing that thing with his back. I don't quite get that. Why do you do that? maybe I need to do this in object mode. Keep doing that. It's Control A. Apply location, apply rotation and scale, and now it's still doing it. Funny how it doesn't do it to the nose and the face. Not really. It's everywhere else. I'll have to figure this out later. Yeah, probably have to figure this out later. I don't want to waste too much time on the stream fixing this. Whoa, how'd you get all sideways? These could probably be pulled closer together. The scale tool, so that they look more like ears. And that's good enough for now, until I figure out how to resolve the issues that I was facing. So I have these requests here, and I do take requests. I won't do all of them, but I'll try to do as many as I can. Probably just go in the order that I received them. Actually, I'm going to step away for just a second and be right back. All right. This next one, in order to keep it low poly, I add a UV sphere. I'll cut down the number of vertices and the number of rings. I need to get a reference image in here. And you're more than welcome to talk to it if you'd like to. Tell me what you're thinking or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's coming along good. I'm sorry being so quiet. I'm kind of sketching while I'm watching my stream.
All right. I like how this one came out. I just don't like the subsurf doesn't work on it. I have to investigate that and find out why. That's why you always make a duplicate before you apply things. Now, this one's just going to be a head. It's not going to be a full body. That's what the request was. And front view. H. Might not be the best reference image because he's not facing head on. It'll be all right. You need a good point of reference for things like these, so we'll do the eyes, I guess. And need a side view. Sienna, which is only going to appear from the side. That's not a very good side view either. Please check to see if I have any other views. I really don't. It'll be alright. I will make do with what I have. Sometimes reference images aren't available or aren't perfect. You know, a problem with this one is that he's facing down. But again, to make it work. And I still haven't figured out how to select only the vertices in the front when you're in wireframe. Yes. Really on the bottom of the head where his mouth part comes up. Oh, you know what I need to do before I do anything is going to apply a mirror modifier. One of the most common modifiers you can get. Then together. Now they won't be pulled apart. As I was saying, it's really the bottom of his face where the mouth comes out. So, that's not a right view, that's a left view. Maybe I can flip it. And it works. Probably one of these. Yep, that's the one. Rude in the Y direction. There's no face on the front because I didn't select the middle vertice, but that's by choice. I don't want faces in the middle of the mesh. Extrude this down the Z direction. No faces in the center where you can't see them because they can create problems later. And just hit F. Face there. This. Put a face there. Now got the muzzle, the face, whatever you want to call it. And already just kind of doing some rounding. Head's a little bit flat. Is that the case over here too? Yeah, it's kind of flat. Almost a straight line. If he was looking up, it'd almost be a straight line. Maybe not totally flat. Squeeze in, shape the head. I would like to try to do something here. I don't know how good it's going to be though. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm going to try to give him a separate lower jaw and upper jaw, but it just seems like it'd be really difficult. Hold on, I'm thinking of something.
I stepped away for a bit. Are you modeling the head separate from the body?
Huh?
I said, are you modeling the head separate from the body?
I'm just gonna do the head this time. That's what
Okay.
that's what was requested ahead.
Okay.
Trying to think what would be the best way to do an open mouth. That's what he has. He does always have a little. Maybe not. I don't think I'm equipped yet for that, so maybe I'll just keep this open. Ears, I would assume, are closer to the back of the head. Inset. Oh, it's not nearly big enough. Rude. Yeah, maybe I didn't need to inset. He's got really flat and really round ears. Maybe I just put a loop cut here. Delete the face, only the face. Rude here. I add a face back to this.
Can't really make Mouse.
I was just waiting for that. He's got 2 ears, but you can only really accurately model after one at a time. Doesn't like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
I think I can pull these back some and then push these in. It's not really helping them Mickey Mouse thing.
I think he'll look good when you like raise the ridge of the nose a bit. He'll look less like Mickey, yeah. But I think the ears are perfect because their ears like round anyway, almost Mickey Mouse like.
Yep. Think. Occasionally I'll grab the wrong vertex. That probably needs to come down. That's where the ear starts. Sort of like that. It's not gonna. Side view. Pull this back. Up and increase the opacity. More like that. Increase the size. Could have done this with the corgi too. It slipped my mind. Make them images a little closer together in the size. All of this seems to be kind of smaller as you get to the tip of the nose. And pointy.
I think this is the best profile image to use a hyena because it's almost facing forward.
Say again?
I said the profile image isn't really the best one to use. I don't think.
They're
You
not.
can, yeah. He's barely facing to the side.
I could probably do with a better profile, but I think it'll be alright.
Yeah.
Scale the whole thing in the Y direction a little bit. The reason I did that is because I want to bring everything back. Not sure if I'm looking at this right. Bring this in. And just grab everything that I can see. It definitely does need to be a gap this big thing here. That doesn't look quite right. That's probably because the one above it doesn't look. This is starting to take shape, I think.
Yeah.
Too jagged. And then this can probably go in a little bit because it's probably part of the ear too, even though you can't see it from the image. Jagged.
I think at the top of his face is bent too inward.
Now,
If you raise the top, yeah.
the subsurf on this mesh works perfectly. I'm not sure why it didn't work on the other one. It works really good on this one. Anyway. You got long noses, but maybe not that long. And here. It looks like the nose kind of sticks up a little bit. Not like a pig's nose. Maybe not that much. Back a little bit. Their noses are also wide. Maybe not that wide. think it's taking shape nice. Of course, there's a couple places that need smoothing. Almost everything has a smoother head to it. Move him over. Kind of eyeball it. Don't look that bad. Front view. Okay, faces only. I'm going to try again to give them an actual mouth. I'm going to extrude down. I'll have to add a loop cut here so that I can add a face here. And that's looking a little better there. Then you could also maybe very carefully see where these points line up. 1, 2. See that yellow line? I'm following that yellow line to that vertex and then this vertex face. Now if I inset this a little bit, then grab it and pull it down. Not so much that it's sticking through the guy's mouth. Here. Now he's kind of got a mouth. There is something in the middle there that I don't want. And that's the face. And there's also an edge there that I don't really want. So if I choose this face and I decide I want it to be a red color, because it's the inside of his mouth. Yep, maybe I should do the whole thing first. Just green. I'll come back to that when I have a proper color. I'm going to make it red. This needs to be green. I'm going to demonstrate how the inside of his mouth could kind of work. There's another face. And upstairs, it's not supposed to be there. Maybe I didn't need to delete that face. I think I'll keep that face there. I'll have to figure out some way. And yeah, it's gonna be alright. It'll be alright. It's just If I want to keep this low poly, there's going to be a couple of things here that are not quite right. Maybe not. Everything except for these can be, I don't know, they're kind of yellowish brown. I think I know how I could resolve this. One way I could resolve this is to root this. They actually has a lip. Pretty sure Hyena's lips are black. Still doesn't really solve this though. Need to add a new face where I just deleted one. This face is actually on the outside, right? So one thing I can do is separate the head from the mouth because it's really hard to get in there and do anything. Not that face, it's part of the head. And then spacebar, separate by selection. What that does is these are now up, and I missed a couple of things. So I hit Control Z to undo, and now everything is one object again. I want to separate everything in here. That face belongs to this too. Why is that not selected? So you see what I'm trying to do here, select everything, kind of being a pain. That's why I was scared to even try to give him his own mouth separate from his head there. Let's do vertices select, see if that changes anything. I think I may have accidentally separated parts without separating all. Now I can see those vertices. Right. Try again. That's nice. No, it was P. I recall that. kind of got one too many things there, but that's okay. Now that they're separated, I can just hide the head. H. And in case you're wondering, you can bring everything back with Alt H. Everything that's hidden. I just this. I'm going to work on fixing this. So. I can extrude here. Actually, I'm going to go here and temporarily remove clipping. I can pull this back. I can probably delete this edge. And that's okay. I think that's okay where it is. There's a bunch of stuff in here that's not quite right. So this needs, turn clipping back on. Needs 4 faces. 2, 3, 4. There's a problem. I wanted to get rid of this gap here. So I'll also extrude this in the X direction. Make a face here. You're not supposed to have triangles in your mesh if possible. But for something like this, as small as it is, you're not going to see it. That's okay. Basically, totally inside of his head, and you're really not going to see it. So I'm going to pull this back together. Actually, no. I'm going to extrude in the X direction. There's another try here, which I don't like doing. But because it's part of basically it's part of a straight line, I think it'll be okay. But their face here. Alright. Now I'll go back into object mode and press Alt H to bring that back. And it looks much better now. And there's a couple of areas it could be improved. What it is, I think it'll work. Now you can keep these objects separate, but allow them to move independently by parenting, with Control P, parent to object. So now, wherever this goes, the mouth will follow, but the mouth can behave independently. Now I think I need to apply a couple of things here. Apply location, apply rotation. Rotate. Trying to do something. Not really working. Anyway, you can move this independently. That's what I'm trying to say. You move the head, everything goes together as it should be. That was long-winded. How long have I been streaming for? Not quite 2 hours yet. Let's see about making this look a little nicer. In relation to the nose, the eyes are almost in the middle of the head as far as the height goes. Maybe like right here. Sets. X. Obviously the nose is going to be some shade of gray or black. This color is not quite right, is it? Should be more. I'll just use the dropper tool and grab maybe this color.
Can you explain again why is it green?
Say again?
I said, why was it green before?
I just threw it together.
Okay.
Before. So I can show you the inside of the mouth would be red.
Yeah.
The rest would be doing its own thing. A loop cut here. Loop cut here. You can give them black clips. Those need to be black. Where is his nostrils located? They're on the front. Make them like a darker shade of black. Maybe I can lighten this up a little bit. Here. These need to be a dark black too. But he doesn't just have black beady eyes, he's got parts around it are. Actually, I think the whole thing is like too dark of a color. Maybe I'll add a new color for 2. This color should be kind of like that, maybe. Now, what this is going to do is going to make the eyes this color too, but I'll have to fix that. I really wanted this to be a lighter color, but it doesn't really give me a lighter color. Face everything. I think I like this one better. You can always play with the tone. Gotta get it where you like it. So it doesn't look good at all. I don't like having vertices so close together. It creates problems. Can't always be avoided, but if you can avoid it, try to do so. Right. Press and Control tab to quickly go into face select, edge select, or other select modes. I can choose vertex select. I don't think the bottom is supposed to be black, is it? Yeah, it kind of is. Again, you can really soften some of these strong edges, like just kind of rounding it yourself. There's not enough vertices here to make this look round, make this look appropriate. Nor here.
It was really good.
There's some places that need work. I think the top of the head is orange. And I've mostly used the eyedropper tool for these, but I think I'm going to try kind of eyeballing it now. All of this is orange, I think. Something's not quite right about the proportions of the head. And this is what happens when I add subsurf to it. Oh. Lost a lot of my colors by accident. I undid a little too much, and this is way too short. That is done a moment ago. Oops. Yeah. Accidentally clicked outside the window and now it's not working right. Hold on. Hold it. Fur is definitely not the right color, not the color I want it to be. Dark. Kind of hard working with only one color. A lot of the work I had just done, accidentally undid it. Like smoothing out some of these vertices. Again, I'm not really sure what this is called. I guess it's called topology. Things are spaced out properly and they make nice squares. Let me move back a bit. Maybe up a bit. I'm not going to get into the teeth just yet. A lot of work going into that. And I'm getting close to 2 hours. I don't want to stream too long. Let's see. Best way to go about this. Probably keep these. You face in and set. The side of your ears are basically darker than your fur. Not too dark. Yeah. This needs to be black. Ears kind of need their own color. And I guess that's good enough for me. Here. I'm just smoothing things out a little bit. I don't know, the fur color still seems to be too dark. It's probably the right color, but the lighting really messes it up. So, I'm gonna make the orange color again. Somehow I accidentally didn't quite do it right. Yes, pretty cool. And add some more vertices. Not this far down the head. Mostly the back of the head. That's that orange color. I was trying something here, it didn't really work out that well. One second here. How does he look compared to our boy here?
Yeah, I love it. Looks like a really cartoonish looking hyena, but you can still tell it's a hyena.
Yeah. That doesn't look that bad, actually. I mean, there's some areas of improvements.
I personally think its eyes should be a little bigger.
Really? I thought they should be smaller.
I don't know. I mean, it looked beady, but I mean, talking about the real hyena has beady eyes, but
Um, you. Oh, okay. Very, very little white. Oh. When you're using stuff like this to color, you have to do the outside first and then the inside and then the outside and then the inside. See if I turn up the subsurf. I think that red is a little too cartoony. It's not really how it's supposed to be. Obviously, the ears need some work. Before I do anything, I'm going to duplicate. Yes. Okay. Move him to another layer. Maybe apply mirror. Now we got a lot more vertices on the mesh. Hold on. Okay, right. All of these vertices should be using the other black. It actually will be easier if I go back to before I apply the modifiers. Alright. Somehow they ended up using the wrong color. Oh, I know now. I did the top of the nose, but not the other part. It used to be. And also, outside of this probably needs to be black too. On his mouth, I will apply the mirror modifier. then I can do origin to geometry. Now I can take this. And then right there. Why is his mouth this color? Go back to before I applied the mirror modifier. Did I apply the mouth, actual mouth color there? Black. I started off saying hyenas have black lips, but actually their whole like face is a black color too.
Oh.
And then it says probably too big. There's a lot of stuff that you can kind of see as you go along that you didn't see before in a new perspective.
I love the ears though.
Like the ears?
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion though? You see where his nose is kind of like dented in. Like I think it should be raised a little bit. The bridge of his nose should be raised a little bit, just a little, like a little. Yeah. Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah.
Every time you move the front a little, you have to move the back a little too. That doesn't look bad actually. I may not need those vertices. What happens if I remove them? Oh, that's actually. They do have very streamlined faces.
Yeah.
Right, come down a little bit. What I'm doing now is really just, a judgment call. Looking at it, seeing stuff that doesn't look right. Like over here, doesn't quite look right. I don't think it should be popping out right there. I have to go back and correct these weird triangular shapes in the ears. That's because of the subsurf or subdivided surface. Look at the nose though. When you add that, it really looks cool. Where? Nostril. Let's look at them side by side again. Pardon. Any suggestions? Hey, Cody.
So,
Any
I'm sorry about
suggestions?
that.
I still think the fur is not the right color. No matter how many times I've changed it.
I think it looks good. I mean, his snout and the rest of his face is like it's such a sharp contrast. It kind of looks like he dipped his head in tar a little bit, but I think it's cool.
Actually, I don't think I need to select anything. All I need to do is adjust this black. It's not as black.
Yeah. Like make the transition from his black fur to brown fur feel natural. Like maybe make it a little lighter. Yeah, something like that.
What I do like about doing colors this way is you can easily main. This is main. It should be oranger or sharp orange. You have full yellow, which is red and green, and you subtract the green, you get this orange color. And natural. It's also on the back of his head. Now the ears, I think, are kind of weird back here. If I pull these back, it's not going to be as stretch out. I'm liking that so far.
Yeah, me too. It looks a lot better. Yeah, it looks a lot better.
Maybe this fur color could be. Really trippy. Okay, one thing I noticed, it looks like this looks like this top part of his eye here needs to be
Party hyena.
that changing. I know. Before his eyes had a big white circle going around them. I think that looks a lot more natural. I'm going to apply the subsurface 1. And it did a couple of weird things because it wasn't the first thing in the list. But I don't think I mind that. Actually, maybe let me go back to where I was before. Oh. Check this out. Before and after. A lot of difference, huh?
Okay, so cute. Yeah.
What happened now?
I love the corgi. I said I love the corgi. He's so adorable.
Do you like this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, send the file to me so I can download it.
Corgi blend. Okay.
Put it on my blender.
That almost looks pretty good there.
Yeah, the corgi is really, and the hyena also. I would love to see you do the entire body, but I can see why you could.
On this one, I decided to do more detail on the head, and plus that's what my friend asked for. Turn up the subdivide now. Pretty good. I want to duplicate these and then move it to another layer. Because now I'm going to add a mirror modifier and the subs. What that will allow me to do is go in and correct these ears, because these vertices didn't exist before. They were implied. Basically, that's what the subsurf modifier does. Kind of, sorta, is it implies you have more vertices than you have, and then when you apply it and make it like finalize it, then you actually get those vertices to mess with. It's not implied anymore, it's actually there. So if I see something like this, this looks kind of jagged. Pull it down a little bit, give it more of a curve. And this isn't very well curved either. Now that the mirror modifier is not there, I have to do everything on both sides.
Kind of looks like a disco ball.
Just happened. I know it did not just.
Oh, what happened?
I'm not sure. I think I just lost the work that I done.
Are you serious? You didn't save it?
I didn't.
Oh, shoot. That sucks. What happened? It crashed?
Yeah, it crashed. Or I hit the wrong button.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's alright. Oh, I guess I'll see you next stream.